All right, we're going to tackle one of the biggest, oldest questions out there, but we're going to look at it through a really modern lens. I'm talking about free will. In a world full of predictive AI and brain science that's getting more powerful every day, is that feeling you have of being in control real, or is it just a beautiful illusion? Okay, let's get into it. Picture this, okay? You're at a coffee shop. You're trying so hard to resist getting that extra latte. Then your phone buzzes. And what you know, it's an ad for that exact drink you were just thinking about. A minute later, you've bought it and you're already scrolling on your phone. So did you really choose that? Or did a dozen invisible forces, from your own biology to that algorithm on your phone, make that choice for you? Because here's the wild part. By 2026, some of these algorithms are predicting what we'll buy with almost 90% accuracy. Think about that for a second. When an outside system knows what you're going to do, maybe even better than you do, you have to ask some tough questions. Like, who's really in the driver's seat here? And that leads us right into our first big challenge to free will: the algorithms. The ones that are always watching, always learning, and, constantly nudging us around our digital world. This is really the core question of our time, isn't it? This isn't just about getting you to buy coffee. It's a fundamental challenge to how we think about our own freedom. I mean, if your next move is that predictable, how can you say it was really your move to begin with? So how in the world did they do it? Well, it's a data storm. They're not just glancing at what you bought last week. No. They are tracking your location, your heart rate from your smartwatch, every tiny pause before you click, every single like and share. There are even AI models now that can simulate our brain's reward system with scary accuracy, basically figuring out what we'll do before we even do it. And the psychological trick they use to keep us glued to the screen, it's called variable rewards. It works just like a slot machine. You never know when that next like, that next notification is going to pop up. So your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, and you just keep pulling the lever, or in our case, you just keep on scrolling. And like this user points out, none of this is an accident. These systems are carefully engineered to grab our attention and guide what we do, usually to make someone money. It's persuasion, but on a massive, algorithmic scale. But here's the thing. The challenge to free will doesn't just come from the outside, from our phones. Turns out there's an even older, deeper challenge that comes from inside our own heads. Let's look at the science, because this is where it gets really interesting. This whole debate basically exploded back in 1983 because of one groundbreaking experiment. And since then, it's just gotten more intense. You have thinkers like Robert Sapolsky arguing we're just biological machines, which has led to these fiery public debates that are happening right now. And this is the idea that lit the fuse, the readiness potential. So imagine your brain is like an orchestra warming up right before the big show. Well, scientists found this warm-up signal in the brain a full half-second before people were even aware they had decided to move. The implication of that was just staggering. And boom, there it is, the core of the deterministic argument. If your brain is already setting things in motion long before your conscious mind even gets the news, then what is you actually doing? Thinkers like Sam Harris and Robert Sapolsky would say your conscious choice is just rubber stamping a decision that was already a done deal. This really captures how much this idea has taken hold. It feels like the science is pointing to one conclusion, that our feeling of being in charge is just a story our ego tells itself to feel important. But wait, the story is definitely not over, because in just the last few years, a lot of scientists have started to push back, taking another hard look at that original evidence. And this is the big question that's turning this whole debate on its head. What if we've been totally misreading that brain signal for the past 40 years? So check this out. The old way of seeing it was that this readiness potential was a direct command from the brain. Okay, time to act. But the new view from neuroscientist Aaron Scherger suggests it's nothing like that. It might just be random neural chatter, background noise that ebbs and flows, and when a wave of that noise just happens to cross a certain threshold, a movement gets triggered. It's not a decision, it's more like a statistical accident. And there's more. More recent studies have found problems with how the original experiment even measured time. And here's the real kicker. That readiness potential signal, it doesn't even show up when we're making complex, meaningful choices, only for simple little finger wags. And get this, even the original guy, Benjamin Libet, thought we had something he called free won't, which is the conscious power to veto an unconscious urge. So, with the science itself now up for debate, the whole thing has just escalated. It's become this full blown philosophical showdown between two totally different ways of seeing what it even means to be human. On one side, you've got Stanford's Robert Sapolsky. He argues very powerfully that every single thing you do is the unavoidable result of a chain of causes stretching all the way back to the Big Bang. But on the other side, neuroscientist Kevin Mitchell argues that no, evolution literally built us to be agents, creatures that can make real choices and change our own futures. This table does a great job of laying out all the different camps. You've got hard determinism, which says free will is a total illusion and your habits are pretty much set in stone. Then there's compatibilism, which says, hey, freedom is just about being able to act on the reasons you believe in. Next up is emergent agency, the idea that we evolved to consciously change our habits. And finally, that new neuroscience view, which puts the spotlight on our power to say no to our unconscious urges. And this tweet kind of gets to the heart of it, right? Whatever the physics or biology says, that feeling of making a choice feels incredibly real. If it's all just a trick, it's the most convincing trick the universe has ever pulled off. So, where does all this leave us? Are we just puppets, caught between our biology on one side and algorithms on the other? Or is there a better, more empowering way to think about all this? And I think this is really the key takeaway from the whole modern debate. Agency probably isn't about some magical cause-free power. It's about how we work within our limits. Yeah, we've got biological tendencies, we've got powerful habits, and we've got algorithms nudging us. But we also have the ability to stop, reflect, and take some control back. So what can you actually do? Well, we can practice that free won't. That moment where you catch the impulse to scroll or grab a snack and you consciously say, nope. We can be intentional about designing our habits and our environments so they help us, not hurt us. And we can set real limits on the tech that's been designed to pull our strengths. You know, in the end, maybe free will isn't something we have, like a feature built into our brains. Maybe it's something we do. It's an act of building something. We aren't puppets, but maybe we are the architects of our own strings. So the real question isn't, are you free? It's, with the agency you do have, what are you going to choose to build?